A magnetic force stands between you and the life you want. But it isn't outside of you. It isn't your boss, your relationships, or your circumstances. It's the grip you hold on reality, the need to control every detail, every outcome, every step of your own evolution. And the truth is, that grip creates resistance. The universe doesn't push back because it's cruel. It pauses because your energy is tight. I want you to imagine someone named Alex. Alex had a perfect morning routine: gratitude journaling, visualization exercises, planning each hour down to the minute. Every detail was accounted for. Yet, no matter how tightly Alex controlled their schedule, something always felt heavy. The breakthrough never came. The opportunities, the moments that could shift everything, lingered just out of reach. Sound familiar? Maybe not the exact routine, but the feeling, the tension, the pressure, the quiet panic that nothing is ever enough resonates with most of us. The paradox is simple. The more we try to steer life, the more life steers around us. What feels like empowerment is often tension disguised as determination. When you broadcast, "I must keep things in order," the universe doesn't see your intentions. It sees your frequency. And if that frequency carries anxiety, force, or compulsion, the universe mirrors it back. Not miracles, not flow, but friction, repetition, patterns that feel stuck. Why does this happen? Two forces operate behind the scenes. First, your nervous system reacts to control like a threat. It whispers, "Something is unsafe," and your body contracts. Stress hormones spike, muscles tighten. Your mind becomes vigilant, scanning for flaws and gaps. Meanwhile, the quantum field doesn't hear your words, it reads your energy. If your energy is tight, the field responds with equal tension. Second, control undermines alignment. You may desire expansion, abundance, or healing, but if your energy is anchored in fixing, in "I must get this right," the universe reflects that. What you resist persists, not in some mystical sense outside yourself, but as your frequency echoing back your own tension. I want to share a story that illustrates this perfectly. Maya had been working on her dream business for years. She followed every strategy, every method she read in books, attended every webinar, planned each launch with precision. And yet, despite all the effort, her sales plateaued. She felt like she was running a marathon on a treadmill, moving, trying, doing, but getting nowhere. Sound familiar? She couldn't understand why. It wasn't lack of skill, it was her energy. She had been forcing every action with the hidden message, "I'm not enough. I must prove myself." Once she began releasing that compulsion, focusing on alignment instead of control, opportunities appeared naturally. Collaborations, clients, and ideas showed up without force. The breakthrough wasn't the result of a new tactic, it was the shift in her energy. This is the core of energetic surrender. Surrender is not giving up, it is stepping back from the need to force outcomes and trusting the natural flow of life. It is the calm center that allows what wants to unfold to align with you. It is not laziness, it is radical presence. Think of it like holding a delicate bird. If you grip it tightly, it struggles, claws, and may be harmed. But if you open your hands, relax your body, and simply allow it to land, it may come to you naturally. Life is the same. Tighter control does not bring results. Release does. You don't stop dreaming, planning, or taking action. You stop forcing the timing, the results, the form. You move from gripping the wheel of life to riding the current. Release is not surrender to circumstance. It is surrender to alignment. It is realizing that the universe is already in motion, and your energy is what either syncs or clashes with it. Here's another story. Liam was obsessed with manifesting a promotion. He rehearsed his pitch, micromanaged every email, over-prepared for every meeting. Each time the opportunity seemed close, it slipped away. He couldn't understand why. It wasn't lack of skill, it was his energy. He was broadcasting, "I must make this happen. I am not enough until I succeed."
Once he shifted to a state of calm alignment, focusing on growth, competence, and contribution instead of desperation, the promotion arrived naturally. The difference wasn't effort, it was frequency. Dr. Joe Dispenza explains this principle elegantly. Intention without surrender is incomplete. Intention gives direction, surrender gives life. If you visualize your goal, but hold tension, the universe reflects the tension, not the goal. If you pair clarity of vision with spaciousness of presence, the field responds in kind. Your desire doesn't collide with reality, it harmonizes with it. Imagine you're a radio. If your frequency is anxious, desperate, or forcing, you broadcast static. If your frequency is calm, confident, and aligned, you broadcast a clear signal. The quantum field mirrors your frequency, not your agenda. This is why so many seekers fall off vibration. They repeat affirmations, meditate, and follow techniques, but their internal story of not enough overrides the practice. Here's the subtlety most people miss. Control feels like courage, but it is actually fear. Every time you push, correct, or manipulate life to your will, you broadcast fear. And fear manifests as more struggle, delay, and resistance. Only release allows the current of life to move through you. Only release aligns your energy with what already exists in potential, waiting to be expressed. Pause now and feel this. Consider a moment when you were trying to force a result, a relationship, a project, a personal change.
Recall the tension, the worry, the compulsive check-ins. That was your energy broadcasting resistance. Now imagine relaxing into it. Not ignoring, not giving up, but softening your grip, breathing, allowing, trusting. That is surrender. That is magnetic. This is just the beginning. In the next part, we'll explore how subtle resistance, control disguised as self-improvement, spiritual hustle, or even good intentions, keeps the very patterns you wish to change in place. We'll dive into the science and stories that show why release, not more effort, is the ultimate activation of possibility. Before we move, ask yourself quietly, what part of me is still gripping life so tightly that it resists my own flow? Where am I trying to force results instead of aligning with my frequency? Take a breath. This awareness is your first step. Release is not abandoning your dreams, it is reclaiming your power, not by doing more, but by becoming the signal that reality recognizes. Resistance often disguises itself as action. We think we are moving forward, when in reality, we are reinforcing the very blocks we want to dissolve. Take Emma, for example. She spent years trying to fix her self-esteem. She read books, attended workshops, repeated affirmations, and journaled endlessly. And yet she still felt insecure, still doubted herself in moments that mattered most. It wasn't the lack of effort that held her back. It was the energy behind it. Every act of trying harder carried an unspoken message. I am not enough. That message echoed through her frequency, and the world reflected it. Opportunities felt scarce. Relationships felt heavy. Achievements felt hollow. Here's the truth. Control is not mastery. Control is fear wearing the mask of courage. When we try to manipulate life to fit our will, we trigger contraction in our nervous system. Our body reacts as if we are under threat. Muscles tighten. Heart rate rises. Mind hyperfocuses. The quantum field doesn't see the words you speak or the actions you take. It reads the vibration behind them. If the energy is tight, the field responds with tightness. If it is open, it responds with openness. Consider this story. Raj was trying to manifest a new business opportunity. He followed all the advice,
wrote vision statements, visualized daily, networked relentlessly. But each potential client slipped away. Each deal fell through. Why? His energy carried tension, desperation, and the silent story, "I need this to happen or I will fail." Once Raj recognized this, he shifted. Instead of controlling, he aligned. He focused on competence, creativity, and contribution instead of forcing results. Gradually, the opportunities appeared, naturally and effortlessly. The breakthrough wasn't a new tactic, it was a shift in frequency. Surrender is not giving up. It is the practice of stepping back from force and leaning into alignment. It is understanding that life is not a puzzle you solve with effort. It is a river you navigate by syncing with the current. Release is not laziness. Release is presence. Release is trust. The paradox is simple. The more you try to control, the more life resists. The moment you stop forcing, tension dissolves and flow begins. Let's explore another layer. Many spiritual seekers unknowingly anchor resistance under the guise of self-improvement. They follow every routine, every morning ritual, every meditation, believing that doing more equals becoming more. But underneath lies compulsion, a belief that they must prove themselves worthy. This compulsion creates a frequency of lack, even when the intention is expansion. The universe mirrors this back. More effort doesn't break the loop, it reinforces it. Look at Mia's story. She wanted to attract love into her life. She practiced affirmations, joined workshops, visualized ideal relationships every day.
Months passed with no significant change. She was diligent, but her energy carried tension, urgency, and a subtle belief, "I am incomplete until I find the right partner." When Mia shifted her focus from fixing her love life to aligning with love already within her, everything changed. Her energy softened. People began to resonate with her naturally. Love appeared not because she pushed for it, but because she embodied the frequency of love. This principle is not abstract. It is science and story combined. The quantum field responds to frequency, not effort. Observer effect in physics tells us that measurement affects outcomes. But it's more than just observation. It's the quality of attention, the emotional resonance behind it. Measuring with clenched fists collapses possibilities into tension. Measuring with open arms, with calm, invites reality to shape itself in alignment with your energy. Think of a delicate butterfly. If you grasp it tightly, it struggles. You may hold it, but you damage its beauty. If you open your hands, it may land on your palm willingly. Life works the same way. Tight control crushes the natural unfolding. Release invites it. The art of manifestation is not more doing. It is aligning, softening, releasing. Now imagine your own goals and dreams. Where have you been pushing? Where have you been trying to force results? Notice the tension, the repeated cycles, the moments when your heart says, "I trust," but your energy says, "I must make this happen." That is the vibration the universe responds to. And the shift doesn't come from more effort, it comes from release. Release doesn't mean inaction. It means recalibrating the energy behind your actions. It is acting from clarity instead of compulsion, from presence instead of fear. You still plan, take steps, show up, but your inner posture is different. You are aligned, not desperate. You are expansive, not contracting. You are magnetic, not forceful. Consider Lucas. He wanted to write a book. He forced every hour, pressured himself to produce, and suffered constant creative blocks. His inner story was, "I must succeed or I am a failure." When Lucas shifted from force to flow, allowing inspiration to guide him, trusting that ideas would appear,
Writing became effortless. Words flowed, pages multiplied. His dream materialized not because he worked harder, but because he aligned his frequency with creativity itself. This is the essence of the paradox. Action alone does not create results. Effort without alignment can trap you in the cycle of doing more and getting less. Release, paired with intention, is the true alchemy. Intention clarifies the vision. Release softens the energy. The field responds to both. Together, they produce miracles that rigid effort cannot. Ask yourself, where have you been holding too tightly? What patterns, relationships, or outcomes have you been trying to control? Can you imagine releasing the grip, trusting that alignment will carry the result? Even a small shift, breathing, softening, letting go of the need to fix, changes your frequency. And frequency is the signal that collapses potential into reality. In the next part, we will explore how subtle forms of resistance, spiritualized hustle, perfectionism, and constant optimization anchor old patterns, and how to pivot into energetic alignment that naturally attracts the life you desire. But for now, notice this: your energy is your signal. Release tension, let go of compulsion, step into alignment. The universe responds to resonance, not force. That is the first step toward magnetic creation.
Control often masquerades as discipline. We think that by mastering every routine, every thought, every action, we are creating momentum. But true momentum emerges from alignment, not force. Take Sarah. She had a strict schedule: meditation at 6 a.m., workouts, affirmations, work blocks, journaling at night. Her life looked impeccable on paper. Yet inside, she felt anxious, restless, and incomplete. Her breakthrough never arrived. It wasn't her routine that failed, it was her energy. Every action carried the silent message: I must control or I will fail. That tension anchored her in the very patterns she wanted to escape. The more she tried to fix, the more stuck she felt. The lesson is subtle but powerful. What you resist, you reinforce. Control amplifies what you are trying to escape. The field responds not to intention alone, but to the vibration behind it. This is why so many seekers feel exhausted despite diligent effort. Resistance is woven into the very fabric of compulsive control. Imagine a man named Daniel. He wanted to manifest a successful career. He networked, applied, interviewed, followed every technique he learned. Nothing worked. His energy broadcast, I must make this happen or I am not enough. Opportunities slipped through his fingers because the universe mirrored his tension. Once Daniel shifted focus from fixing to alignment, celebrating his skills, trusting the process, letting go of desperate control, the flow began. Offers appeared naturally. His dream materialized without force. This is the paradox of surrender. Surrender is not quitting. It is releasing the compulsion to control. It is stepping back and trusting the natural intelligence of the universe. The art of manifestation is not doing more, but being more. It is acting from presence, not from desperation. Control feels like courage, but it is fear in disguise. Every time you push, manipulate, or micromanage, you broadcast fear, and fear creates more struggle. Release, on the other hand, broadcasts trust, openness, and readiness. Consider the metaphor of a river. You cannot push the water upstream. Effort alone cannot move it. You must flow with the current. You can steer, but the force comes from alignment with the river, not against it. Life works the same way. Tight control crushes possibility. Release invites it. Let me tell you about Olivia. She wanted to heal a relationship.
She scheduled conversations, tracked her partner's moods, tried to anticipate every reaction. The tension was palpable. Nothing changed. When Olivia softened, stopped forcing, and approached each interaction from curiosity and openness instead of control, the relationship transformed. Connection deepened. Communication became natural. Healing flowed. This principle applies to every area of life: relationships, career, health, creativity, abundance. Tension creates resistance. Presence creates flow. Dr. Joe Dispenza emphasizes that intention without surrender is incomplete. Intention gives clarity. Surrender gives energy. Together, they produce resonance. Separately, effort without alignment can trap you in cycles of struggle. Think about your own life. Where have you been holding too tightly? Where has the need to fix, perfect, or control prevented the very outcome you desire? Even small acts of release, breathing, pausing, softening your inner posture, shift your frequency. Frequency is what the universe responds to. Stories of transformation are everywhere. People manifest dreams not by pushing harder, but by realigning their energy. Their breakthroughs are subtle at first: a feeling, a synchronicity, an effortless encounter. Then reality begins to bend toward them. Imagine a butterfly resting on your hand. If you grasp too tightly, it escapes. If you open your hands gently, it may land willingly. Life is the same. Tight control crushes potential. Release invites it. The act of surrender is not passive. It is an active calibration of energy. It is choosing presence over compulsion, alignment over fear, resonance over resistance. Liam, Emma, Maya, Daniel, Olivia all experienced this. Their breakthroughs were not the result of doing more, but of releasing the need to control. They stopped pushing and allowed flow. You can do the same. Notice the tension within you, the part of you that feels the need to force results. Observe it without judgment. Then imagine softening it. Let your heart lead. Let your presence guide. Let the energy align. The universe responds to this signal, not to frantic effort, not to perfect routines, not to repeated affirmations, but to the vibration behind them. Alignment collapses potential into reality. Resistance recycles struggle. Release creates opportunity.
Many people misunderstand what it means to surrender. They think it is giving up or settling. But true surrender is not resignation, it is alignment. It is the quiet inner knowing that what wants to unfold is already forming, and that your energy is what either syncs with it or blocks it. Take Noah. He had been chasing a promotion for years. He prepared meticulously, overanalyzed every meeting, followed every strategy he read in books. Each time it seemed close, it slipped away. Noah's energy carried the message, "I must make this happen or I fail." Once he shifted focus from controlling outcomes to aligning with competence, creativity, and trust, the promotion arrived effortlessly. The work didn't change, but his energy did. This is the paradox. You cannot force alignment, but you can cultivate it. When you stop pushing, resisting, and overmanaging, your frequency becomes magnetic. Opportunities, people, and ideas flow naturally toward you. Consider the metaphor of holding sand. Clench it tightly and it slips through your fingers. Open your hands, relax, and it rests effortlessly in your palm. Life responds the same way. Tight control creates friction. Presence creates flow. Many spiritual seekers unknowingly anchor resistance under the guise of self-improvement. They read, repeat affirmations, follow rituals, and yet feel stuck. Why? Because beneath all the effort lies compulsion, a belief that they must prove themselves worthy. That energy of lack is louder than any technique or routine. The universe mirrors that vibration. More effort does not break the loop, it strengthens it. This is why so many people feel exhausted despite diligent work on themselves. The shift begins when you recognize resistance as energy, not failure. Emma, for instance, had struggled with self-doubt for years. She tried every book, every course, every practice, yet felt insecure. The breakthrough came when she noticed the compulsion behind her actions. I am not enough. She softened. She released the drive to fix herself. Her energy changed, and so did her life. Patterns that had persisted for years began to dissolve naturally. This is the essence of energetic alchemy. Action without alignment can trap you, but alignment without frantic action creates flow. Release does not mean inaction. It means acting from presence, clarity, and resonance rather than force and anxiety. Liam wanted to start a creative project. He scheduled every minute, pressured himself, and still felt blocked. When he shifted from controlling the process to aligning with inspiration, the work flowed effortlessly. The project unfolded naturally. This is how the universe works. Your energy, your frequency, is the signal the quantum field responds to. Effort alone does not collapse potential into reality. Presence does. Intention gives form to desire, but surrender gives it life. The two together, clarity and spaciousness, create resonance. Anything less invites friction. Consider your own life. Where have you been pushing too hard? Where have you tried to fix, control, or manipulate outcomes? What would it feel like to release the tension and trust the process? Even a subtle shift, breathing, softening, allowing, changes your signal. The field responds instantly. Look at the patterns around you. Opportunities, synchronicities, and people appear when your energy is coherent. Resistance recycles struggle. Release invites alignment. The stories of transformation are consistent. Breakthroughs appear when individuals stop trying to force, control, or prove themselves and start aligning. You don't need more techniques. You need presence. You don't need more planning. You need resonance. You don't need more effort. You need trust. The next step is awareness. Notice your tension. Notice your compulsion. Then let it soften. Step back from the need to control. Align your energy. Broadcast trust, not fear. Act from clarity, not desperation. The universe mirrors your vibration. The moment you release, flow begins. The first step toward magnetic creation is noticing where you resist. The second is softening your grip. The third is allowing alignment to take the lead. Your inner energy is your signal. Change it, and your reality responds. In the next part, we will explore how even subtle attempts to fix or perfect can anchor old patterns, and how small daily shifts in frequency create massive results over time. For now, pause and ask, where am I still gripping? Where can I release? What would it feel like to trust life is already aligning with me? Step into that frequency. Align. Allow. Flow.
Many people chase results with sheer effort, thinking that doing more will finally break the pattern of struggle. But the deeper truth is that effort without alignment often reinforces the very blocks you want to remove. Take Ava as an example. She wanted to improve her health. She followed every diet, every workout plan, every wellness routine she could find. She tracked her meals, counted every calorie, pushed herself harder each day. Yet she felt more stressed, less energetic, and further from her goal than ever. Her energy carried the underlying message, I must fix myself. I am not enough as I am. That vibration blocked the very flow she was seeking. When Ava shifted her approach from controlling every detail to aligning with her natural rhythm, listening to her body, enjoying movement, eating intuitively,
Her health transformed effortlessly. Energy replaced tension, and results followed without force. This illustrates a core principle. The universe responds to your frequency, not your effort. Every time you push, control, or micromanage, you reinforce the energy of resistance. Every time you soften, align, and release, you create the conditions for flow. Imagine a musician. You can play the notes perfectly, but if your body is tense, the music is flat. Relaxation allows resonance. Your energy is the same. Resistance blocks, surrender aligns. Consider Jonah's story. He was desperate to advance his career. He applied to every opportunity, networked constantly, and over-prepared for every interview. Each time, results fell short. Why? His energy carried urgency, fear, and the hidden belief, I am not enough unless I succeed. Once Jonah focused on alignment, celebrating his skills, trusting his process, and softening his internal tension, opportunities appeared naturally. His promotion came without manipulation. This is the subtlety of manifestation. Results do not come from frantic doing, but from coherent being. Even spiritual practices can reinforce resistance if done from compulsion. Meditation, visualization, affirmations, they only work when your energy is soft, open, and aligned. Otherwise, they are another form of control. Think about your own life. Where have you been doing more to get what you want, yet feeling frustrated or blocked? That is your energy signaling misalignment. Release does not mean abandoning desire. It means choosing the energy that allows desire to manifest naturally. Let me share another story. Isabella wanted to attract a loving relationship. She practiced affirmations, scheduled dates, attended workshops, and tried to control every interaction. Months passed with little change. She was diligent, but her underlying energy was desperation and urgency. Once she shifted her focus to embodying love, treating herself with care, being present, and trusting timing, the right relationship appeared effortlessly. The difference was not technique, it was energy. Resistance had been invisible but powerful. This principle applies to every area of life: health, career, relationships, creativity, abundance. Tension creates blocks. Alignment creates flow. The observer effect in quantum mechanics teaches us that the active observation influences outcomes. But more importantly, the energy with which you observe shapes reality. Observing with anxiety and force collapses possibilities into resistance. Observing with calm presence invites manifestation. Think of holding a delicate butterfly. If you grasp too tightly, it struggles and escapes. If you soften, it may land willingly. Life is the same. Tight control crushes potential. Release invites it. Release does not require inaction. It requires a shift in posture, a softening of energy, and a trust that life is naturally unfolding in alignment with your frequency. Your inner energy is your signal. It broadcasts far more than your actions ever could. When you release tension, the universe mirrors that vibration. Actions become effortless. Opportunities appear naturally. Relationships deepen. Ideas flow. This is the essence of magnetic creation. Notice your own patterns. Where are you gripping life too tightly? Where can you soften? What would it feel like to allow life to flow instead of forcing it? Awareness is the first step. Softening is the second. Alignment is the third. The field responds instantly to your energy. In the next part, we will dive into how subtle, spiritualized control, over-optimizing, perfectionism, or relentless planning anchors old patterns and prevents breakthroughs. But for now, reflect. Where have I been pushing too hard? Where can I release? What if life, in its own timing, is already aligning with me?
Step into that frequency. Align, release, flow.
Many people struggle because they mistake constant effort for progress. They believe that more routines, more planning, and more discipline will finally produce results. But in reality, over-efforting often anchors the very patterns you are trying to change. Take Ethan, for example. He wanted to grow his business. He worked 12-hour days, followed every strategy he read online, attended every seminar, and over-prepared for every client call. Yet, despite all the effort, his growth plateaued. The reason wasn't lack of skill or knowledge, it was his energy. Beneath his actions was a hidden current. I must succeed to prove my worth. That vibration of tension and urgency was mirrored back to him in stagnation. When Ethan shifted his focus from forcing outcomes to aligning his energy, celebrating progress, trusting his intuition, and pacing himself, his business began to grow naturally. Leads arrived, collaborations emerged, and creative solutions appeared without struggle. This illustrates a profound principle. The universe responds to frequency, not effort. Every act of force reinforces resistance. Every act of alignment invites flow. Resistance is subtle. It can hide behind spiritual practices, productivity routines, or self-improvement rituals. For instance, Amelia meditated daily, read manifestation books, repeated affirmations, and visualized her goals. Yet she felt stuck, frustrated, and anxious. Her energy broadcast, "I must control, I must fix, I am not enough." When she noticed this and shifted her focus from fixing to being, embodying trust, ease, and presence, her life began to change. Opportunities appeared, collaborations deepened, and creative solutions appeared without struggle. This illustrates a profound principle. Effort without alignment can trap you. Presence and alignment without frantic action create flow. Imagine holding water in your hands. Squeeze too tightly and it slips through your fingers. Open your hands and it rests effortlessly. Life works the same way. Tight control crushes potential. Softness invites it. Consider the story of Noah. He was desperate to advance his career. He applied everywhere, networked relentlessly, over-prepared for every opportunity. Nothing worked. His energy was tense, desperate, and fearful. When he shifted focus from controlling outcomes to aligning with competence, trust, and presence, the right opportunity appeared naturally. The work didn't change, but his energy did. This principle applies to every aspect of life: relationships, creativity, abundance, health. Tight control blocks. Alignment allows. Release does not mean inactivity. It means recalibrating the energy behind your actions. Act from clarity, not fear. Act from resonance, not compulsion. Your inner posture is your signal. Change it, and your outer world responds. Even subtle control can anchor old patterns. Perfectionism, over-optimization, or spiritual hustle can reinforce the very resistance you are trying to overcome. The shift is awareness. Notice where you are gripping. Notice where you are trying to fix or force outcomes. Then soften, align, allow, step into resonance. Think of your goals as seeds. Force alone cannot make them grow. Water, sunlight, and fertile soil create conditions for growth. Your energy is the soil. Presence is the water. Intention is the sunlight. Together, they allow life to unfold effortlessly. In the next part, we will explore how emotional tension and fear subtly sabotage manifestation even when all outward practices are perfect. For now, pause and reflect. Where have I been forcing life to fit my agenda? Where can I release and trust? What if life is already unfolding in alignment with me? Awareness is the first step. Softening is the second. Alignment is the third. Step into that frequency. Allow life to flow through you, not around you.
Emotional tension is one of the most overlooked barriers to manifestation. We focus on actions, routines, and techniques, but energy flows where emotion leads. Take Sophie as an example. She followed every manifestation guide, wrote daily intentions, visualized her dream life, and practiced gratitude. Yet opportunities never aligned. The missing element was her emotional frequency. Deep down, she carried worry, doubt, and the silent story, "I must make this happen or I fail." That vibration blocked the flow of what she desired. When Sophie began to notice her emotions without judgment and allowed them to soften, breathing into them, acknowledging them and letting go, her frequency shifted. Suddenly, doors opened effortlessly, connections deepened, and inspiration flowed naturally. This is the essence of alignment. The universe responds to emotional resonance, not sheer effort. Consider Marcus. He wanted to write a book. He structured his days, set deadlines, tracked every word, and forced creativity. Frustration and self-criticism mounted. Nothing progressed. Marcus's energy broadcast tension and resistance, and the quantum field mirrored it. When he shifted focus from forcing to feeling, inspired, curious, and open, writing became effortless. Pages flowed, ideas multiplied, and the book came to life. Manifestation is not about more doing, it is about being. The quality of your inner energy is the magnet for external results. Even spiritual practices can reinforce resistance if your emotional energy is tense. Meditation, affirmations, visualization, they are powerful, but only when your energy is soft, open, and aligned. Otherwise, they become another layer of control. Let's look at another story. Nina wanted a romantic relationship. She practiced visualization, affirmations, and social strategies diligently, yet no meaningful connection appeared. Her energy carried urgency, neediness, and subtle desperation. When Nina shifted from trying to fix or force love to embodying trust, self-love, and patience, the right partner appeared naturally. This illustrates a universal principle. Tension blocks, presence attracts. The observer effect in quantum theory tells us that measurement affects outcomes. Here, it's not just observing, but the energy behind the observation that shapes reality. Observing with desperation collapses possibilities into struggle. Observing with calmness invites manifestation. Imagine holding a delicate butterfly. If you grasp it tightly, it struggles and escapes. If you open your hands gently, it may land willingly. Life is the same. Tight control crushes potential. Soft, aligned energy invites it. Release does not mean inaction. It means calibrating your energy to broadcast presence instead of compulsion, alignment instead of fear. Every action you take carries vibration. When your energy is coherent, opportunities flow effortlessly. Your relationships deepen, ideas manifest, your health improves, your abundance expands. Even subtle control patterns, perfectionism, over-preparation, spiritual hustle, anchor old resistance. The shift begins with awareness, noticing where you resist, soften, and release. Align your energy, step into resonance. Think of your desires as seeds. Force alone does not make them grow. The soil, water, and sunlight are conditions for growth. Your energy is the soil, presence is the water, and intention is the sunlight. Together, they allow life to unfold naturally. Where have you been forcing, controlling, or trying too hard? Where can you release and trust that life is already aligning with you? Awareness is the first step. Softening is the second. Alignment is the third. Step into that frequency. Let life flow through you, not around you. In the next part, we will explore how identity, the stories you tell yourself about who you are, anchors resistance, and how shifting that story energetically opens access to new possibilities.
Identity is a powerful force that often operates beneath conscious awareness. The stories you tell yourself about who you are, what you deserve, and what is possible shape your vibration far more than any action or routine. Take Alex as an example. He wanted financial abundance. He followed manifestation practices diligently, affirmations, visualization, goal setting, but his income barely changed. The missing piece was identity. Deep inside, Alex carried the story, "I am not capable of success. I don't deserve abundance." His energy broadcasted scarcity, and the universe mirrored it. When Alex began to notice and shift this internal story, believing instead, "I am capable, I deserve success, I can create abundance," his frequency aligned with his desire. Suddenly, opportunities, clients, and ideas appeared effortlessly. This illustrates a universal principle: the field responds to your identity, not your effort. Consider Leela. She wanted a meaningful romantic relationship. She followed all the strategies, scheduled dates, attended events, visualized her ideal partner, yet nothing aligned. Beneath it all, her internal story was, "I am unworthy of love." Her energy broadcasted that vibration. When she consciously shifted her self-perception to embody worthiness, confidence, and love, the right partner appeared naturally. Manifestation is not about perfect action or relentless effort. It is about aligning your inner identity with the frequency of what you desire. Emotional patterns, beliefs, and self-concepts create invisible magnets. Effort without identity alignment often reinforces resistance. Even spiritual practices can become traps if the underlying identity does not match the desired outcome. Imagine trying to pour water into a container that has holes in it. No matter how much you pour, it leaks. Identity is the container. Effort alone cannot hold what is meant to manifest. Aligning your internal story allows the container to hold your desires effortlessly. Consider Daniel. He wanted to publish a book. He wrote diligently, marketed relentlessly, and followed every strategy. Yet his book struggled to gain traction. His internal story was, "I am not enough as an author. People will not accept my work." When Daniel shifted his identity, embracing himself as a talented, worthy, and creative author, his frequency aligned. Suddenly, opportunities, readers, and recognition appeared naturally. The principle is clear. Your external reality mirrors your internal identity. Tension, fear, or self-doubt create resistance. Alignment, trust, and expanded self-perception invite flow. Release does not mean abandoning your goals. It means releasing identity patterns that no longer serve you. Step into the version of yourself that already embodies what you desire. That is the vibration that collapses potential into reality. Even subtle identity misalignments, perfectionism, over-responsibility, compulsive self-improvement anchor old patterns. Awareness is key. Noticing the stories you are telling yourself, softening resistance, and choosing alignment. Think of your goals as seeds. The container for growth is your identity. Presence and alignment are the water and sunlight. Together, they allow life to unfold effortlessly. Ask yourself, what story about myself am I unconsciously broadcasting? Where have I been holding on to an outdated self-concept that blocks my flow? What would it feel like to release it and embody the version of me that already lives the life I desire? Awareness is the first step. Softening is the second. Alignment is the third. Your energy is your signal. Shift it, and your outer world follows. In the next part,
We will dive into how alignment between thought, emotion, and identity creates a coherent frequency that accelerates manifestation and opens doors previously unseen. For now, reflect. Who am I being in this moment, and does that version of me invite or block the life I want? Step into the frequency that matches your desires. Release, align, and flow.
Alignment is the convergence of thought, emotion, and identity. When all three operate in coherence, your energy becomes magnetic and manifestation accelerates. Take Marcus as an example. He wanted to launch a creative business. His thoughts were clear, he knew his vision. His emotions were anxious, he feared failure. His identity was cautious. He didn't see himself as an entrepreneur. The result? Stagnation. When Marcus aligned his thoughts, emotions, and identity, thinking clearly about his goals, feeling confident and inspired, and embodying the identity of a capable creator, his energy became coherent. Suddenly, clients, opportunities, and inspiration flowed effortlessly. This is the core principle. Alignment collapses potential into reality. Consider Jasmine. She wanted to improve her health and vitality. She had clear goals, positive thoughts, and daily routines. But underneath, her emotions carried guilt, self-criticism, and fear, and her identity clung to, "I am someone who struggles with health." No amount of effort shifted her reality. Once she brought emotion, thought, and identity into coherence, believing she is capable, feeling vitality in her body, and thinking in alignment with health, her energy shifted. Her life began to mirror that alignment. Relationships, energy levels, and opportunities aligned naturally. Manifestation is not about action alone. It is about the internal orchestra of coherence. Each element, thought, emotion, identity, must harmonize. If one element is dissonant, resistance persists. Tight control, perfectionism, or compulsion often disrupts this harmony. Even spiritual practices can backfire if energy is incoherent. Think of a guitar. Each string tuned individually, but out of harmony with the others, produces noise. When tuned together, the music resonates. Your energy operates the same way. When your thoughts, emotions, and identity are coherent, the field responds, collapsing possibilities into reality. Consider Noah. He wanted to deepen his relationships. His thoughts were loving, but his emotions carried fear, and his identity was cautious. Efforts to connect felt awkward and forced. When Noah aligned, thinking with love, feeling with trust, and embodying the identity of a confident, open-hearted person, relationships began to deepen effortlessly. This is the principle behind quantum manifestation. Coherence in internal energy precedes external results. It is not about more effort, more planning, or stricter routines. It is about cultivating internal resonance. Your frequency broadcasts your alignment to the universe, which mirrors it back. Resistance is subtle but pervasive. Fear, control, urgency, and self-doubt create invisible barriers. Presence, alignment, and coherence dissolve them. Even small shifts create exponential results. Imagine a lighthouse. Its signal cuts through fog, reaching ships miles away. Your aligned frequency operates the same way. Misaligned energy is static. Coherent energy is magnetic. Release tension, soften compulsion, and embody alignment in thought, emotion, and identity. That is how manifestation becomes effortless. Stories of transformation abound.
People manifest dreams not by pushing harder, but by realigning their internal energy. Business opportunities, relationships, health, and creativity emerge naturally. The key is awareness, noticing where you resist, soften, and realign. Step into coherence, align your thoughts, embody the emotions, and become the identity that already reflects your desire. The universe mirrors your internal signal instantly. Your outer reality is a reflection of your inner coherence. Where have you been misaligned? Where have thought, emotion, and identity been out of sync? What would it feel like to align all three in harmony? Awareness is the first step. Softening is the second. Alignment is the third. Step into the frequency that magnetizes your desires. Release control, embody coherence, and allow life to flow effortlessly. In the next and final part, we will bring all these principles together: release, alignment, coherence, and identity, showing how to live in a magnetic state where creation happens naturally, without struggle or effort. For now, pause and reflect. Where am I coherent? And where am I resisting? Step fully into the energy that invites life to flow toward me.
The culmination of all the principles we've explored, the art of release, the power of alignment, the coherence of thought, emotion, and identity, is the foundation for living in a magnetic state where creation flows naturally. This final chapter is not about learning new techniques. It is about embodying a way of being that transforms every moment of your life. Imagine your energy as a river. For years, you may have been trying to dam it, control its course, and manipulate every drop. Every effort, no matter how disciplined, created tension. Flow was obstructed. Now the river is yours to align with. Release the need to control. Let your energy move with the current. Step into presence. Allow creation to unfold as it was always designed to, naturally, effortlessly, perfectly timed. Take the story of Lucas. He spent decades striving for personal success. He followed strategies, read every self-help book, visualized goals, and forced opportunities. Yet stress, tension, and frustration were constant companions. The breakthrough never arrived. Lucas's energy carried the vibration of fear and compulsion. I must make this happen or I am failing. When he realized that the struggle itself was blocking his desires, he began a radical experiment in release. Lucas paused, observed his internal tension, and asked, "What if life is already aligning for me? What if effort alone is not the answer?" He stopped forcing outcomes, softened his posture toward life, and focused on alignment. The result was staggering. Opportunities appeared that he could not have orchestrated. Relationships deepened without effort. Creativity and inspiration flowed naturally. His life, once rigid and blocked, became fluid, responsive, and abundant. This illustrates the principle that underpins all manifestation. It is not effort that moves the universe, but energy. Every thought, emotion, and identity vibration is a signal that the quantum field mirrors back. Misaligned energy, tension, fear, urgency, self-doubt creates friction. Aligned energy, trust, presence, coherence, and spaciousness invites flow. Consider Isabella. She wanted a loving, deep relationship. She tried every technique, scheduling dates, crafting the perfect conversation, visualizing outcomes, but nothing manifested. Beneath all her effort was desperation and subtle self-doubt. I am not enough unless I make this happen. The universe mirrored that vibration, showing her experiences that reinforced lack and resistance. Once Isabella shifted, embodying self-love, presence, and trust in timing, her ideal relationship appeared effortlessly. The lesson is clear. You cannot manifest from tension. You manifest from aligned being. Release is not passive. It is the art of cultivating presence, softening tension, and embodying the version of you that already holds the reality you desire. Action is not eliminated, it is elevated. When you act from coherence, everything becomes magnetic. Your work, your relationships, your creativity, your abundance, all flow effortlessly. The secret is not in doing more, but in being more. Every spiritual practice, affirmation, or visualization only succeeds when it operates from aligned energy. Otherwise, it becomes another layer of control and compulsion. Emma wanted career success. She followed daily rituals, structured her tasks meticulously, and visualized outcomes. Yet nothing shifted. Her hidden message was, "I must prove myself or fail." When she aligned her thoughts, emotions, and identity with trust, worthiness, and competence, her energy shifted. Opportunities flowed. Recognition arrived. Her life mirrored her alignment. Manifestation is not external, it is internal. Your outer reality is the reflection of your inner frequency. Tight control, fear, urgency, and tension block. Alignment, presence, and trust magnetize. Release does not mean quitting, it means calibrating your energy to broadcast coherence. Consider Michael. He wanted creative freedom and abundance. He worked tirelessly, followed every strategy, and scheduled every creative session. Yet frustration, self-criticism, and subtle fear blocked results. Once he focused on inner alignment, feeling inspired, trusting the process, and embodying the identity of an abundant creator, flow replaced struggle. Projects completed themselves, opportunities emerged, and his creative vision became reality. Even subtle forms of resistance, over-optimizing, perfectionism, or spiritual hustle anchor old patterns. Awareness is the first step. Noticing tension, noticing compulsion, noticing misalignment. Softening is the second, releasing the need to fix, control, or force. Alignment is the third, embodying the coherent state of being that reflects your desires. Your thoughts, emotions, and identity must harmonize. When they do, your frequency becomes a magnetic signal that the universe responds to instantly.
Stories of transformation consistently show this. Lucas, Isabella, Emma, Michael, all experienced breakthroughs not because they worked harder, but because they aligned. They stopped forcing and started being. They embodied their desires first and allowed reality to follow. Let's bring this principle to the smallest moments of your life. When you wake up, do not immediately push to achieve, do not scramble to fix, do not tense for outcomes. Pause, breathe, align your energy, feel into coherence. The small internal shifts compound exponentially. The quality of your inner vibration determines the quality of your external experiences. Release, align, and act from resonance. This is the state where miracles emerge naturally, effortlessly, and consistently. Now consider the concept of identity. Everything you are trying to manifest already exists in probability. But if your internal story contradicts your desire, manifestation is blocked. If you want abundance but carry a hidden belief of scarcity, the universe mirrors that scarcity. If you want love but unconsciously believe you are unworthy, love is reflected back as absence or struggle. Shifting identity is not intellectual, it is vibrational. It is feeling and embodying the truth of your desire now, not someday. Step into the version of you that already has, already is, already embodies the reality you long for. That vibration collapses potential into reality. Alignment of thought, emotion, and identity is the essence of magnetic manifestation. Each element supports the others. Misalignment in one creates resistance in all. Coherence in all three generates a magnetic field that draws life effortlessly. Look at your life. Where are thoughts clear, but emotions tense?
Where do emotions feel aligned, but identity resists? Where does identity hold potential, but thought and feeling are fractured? Notice, release, realign, repeat. The cumulative effect is life transformation at a speed and ease you may have thought impossible. Finally, release is the crown jewel of manifestation. It is not giving up, not surrendering ambition, not relinquishing desire. It is the ultimate act of trust, trusting your energy, your alignment, your resonance, and the unseen intelligence of life itself. Release is the signal the universe responds to. Tension is the signal it mirrors back. Imagine a finely tuned instrument. Tension in the strings creates dissonance. Softened, aligned, harmonized, the instrument produces resonance that fills the room. Your frequency works the same way. The magnetic state you seek is not achieved through effort. It is achieved through coherence, alignment, and presence. Every thought, feeling, and identity vibration is a note in the symphony of your reality. Play it with tension, and life resists. Play it with alignment, and life flows. In this state, miracles cease to be extraordinary. They become ordinary. Opportunities appear effortlessly. Relationships deepen naturally. Creativity and abundance are constants, not exceptions. Timing aligns perfectly without force. The final step is integration. Notice your energy throughout the day. Release control where it arises. Align thoughts, emotions, and identity continuously. Act from presence. Observe how life begins to respond. Momentum emerges naturally when internal coherence is cultivated. The river flows. You move with it. The universe mirrors you, not your agenda. You become the magnetic point around which all possibilities converge. Now, here is your call to action. Take a moment and make a declaration aloud or in writing. State with conviction, I release control. I align my thoughts, emotions, and identity. I embody the life I desire now. I trust the flow of the universe and allow miracles to unfold effortlessly through me. Feel the vibration behind that statement. Let it permeate every cell, every thought, every subtle posture in your body. Carry it into your day, into every decision, and into every interaction. Then observe the shift. Opportunities, connections, inspiration, and abundance will begin to arrive, not because you forced them, but because your energy now calls them. The path forward is simple, yet profound. Release, align, embody, flow. The universe responds instantly to your energy. Do not wait. Begin now. Step fully into the resonance of your desires. Become magnetic. Become the version of yourself that already lives the reality you long for. Comment below. I release and align. Let this be the declaration that anchors your new vibration. Let it signal to the field that you are ready to receive. Watch your life transform.